Philadelphia, I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gargano Show!
Fightins! Look who's hot! Look who's hot. Good morning, everybody. Well, a happy Wednesday to all across the Delaware Valley. This is the Anthony Gargano Show. We're presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out the credit union difference at TrueMark.com/PHLY. Check out a neighborhood branch near you. Look at this last night. Game 2 against the Astros and the Phillies. Oh, man. Nola pitched well. Dodged a couple of rallies and settled down nicely. And the big hit, Casty with the 3-run bomb. And looky who is hot. The Phillies, after putting up 22 runs against Kansas City on Saturday and Sunday, come home, get terrific pitching performances from Wheeler and Nola, take the first 2 games against the Astros, and just like that, they're back tied with the Dodgers for the best record in the National League. They are now 2.5 games up on Milwaukee. So all that fretting, and Milwaukee is still 2.5 back. So as long as, Phillies and Dodgers get the 1-2 spot, you avoid that first round, I think is a big deal. And there's still 6 up on Atlanta, 9 up on the hapless Mets. So they've come out of this thing in a good spot. Now today, Taijuan Walker goes, and we'll see. Obviously, he's been a gas can. He's been horrible. But I don't know. Look, I think the reason why he's even gets the start is that there's just no other options. No other options out there. I think they would have brought up Phillips. You can't. He's got to stay down there for a length of time because of the option. But, if they could have, I think they probably would have brought up Phillips. But now they go, listen, we kind of righted the ship. We got a 4 o'clock start. We took the first 2 games of the series. Well, I don't know. Maybe he can find something, right? Maybe he can gut out, 5 innings. And I think that's kind of the mindset. This is it. We got nobody else out there. Let's not force something. Let's see what happens. So you get Walker today, and that's kind of how it is. But again, they have a different vibe about them. Castellanos had his swagger, right? Had the 3-run bomb afterwards. He's holding court. He looks great. Like, he's such a character. And they feel like they have their mojo back. It feels like down there, it feels like the mojo has returned. And look, I think that's all that matters. That over the next month, you have that kind of swag back. You start to feel good about yourself. So I think they've accomplished that. So that excites me. Yesterday, cut down day. And the biggest surprise is Bradbury. And you heard how we talk about it, and we'll play some cuts for you. But how we talked about the veteran nature of having Bradbury back there, and that's kind of why he makes the team. Also, the kid I like a lot is Ricks, Eli Ricks. So I was wondering what they were going to do, if they were going to trade him. Sidney Brown goes on the pup, which we expected, which kind of paved the way for Bradbury and Ricks. So Ricks, it makes a roster. He's too good to expose. So Ricks stays. And other than that, I think they're going to probably add that third tight end. Interestingly, they put Alberto on the injured reserve. I think they have to add. They're going to add somebody. Donald Parham, who comes from the Chargers, got cut, and Kellen Moore knows him from the Chargers, from the LA Chargers. So he's a possibility. Big body. And our old buddy Jack Stoll got cut by the Giants. So I can see them adding somebody like that as a third tight end. But here it is, man. Roster set. It's a great roster, and very obviously top heavy. There's some depth concerns when you look at the roster from top to bottom. I mean, I think depth is an issue, right? Depth along the offensive line, depth along some of the edge and some of the defense. But other than that, I mean, like their starting roster is really good. Obviously, on offense, I mean, they got some elite talent on this team. So they may be a little top heavy, but that's the price you pay when you have that kind of talent that's starting. It's on, man. We're starting the NFL season a week from tomorrow. A week from Friday is the Eagles in Brazil. Man, this is our happy place. And the Phillies, just as it starts to get dark early. Yesterday was about 7:45, and it was already the sun had set. And I'm like, wow, man, this came fast. The Phillies are back to themselves just as we start the September push around here. Good morning, my boys. JP, John Zapata, VG, Violations, Greg. Good win last night for the Fights.
Nola being Nola, man.
Listen, and the beauty is he didn't have, sometimes they'll score and he might give up a run back. He didn't give up anything back after the home run.
No.
Right?
And he had a little lull, like 5th inning.
Yeah.
I guess Topper went and had a talk with him.
Yeah.
He came out 6th.
Said he wasn't challenging.
He came out the 7th with 93 pitches?
Yeah. And he pitched really well.
Yeah.
What's funny? This is the Nola that you get consistently, truthfully.
Yeah.
Right? But we for some reason, we always have this weird Nola doubt that creeps up. And it's not like people don't like him. It's just this weird doubt that follows Nola. Wheeler, you just feel super confident all the time. And it's a shock when Wheeler gives up a string of hits.
I think Wheeler's got electric stuff.
Yes.
Nola's stuff's not electric. His
Sneaky,
wins,
though.
yes, he's sneaky. So his wins aren't that like, whoa. But when those big innings are, whoa. And I think they outweigh his good games are really good, solid
and he's
games.
Consistently good.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about Nola is that he consistently gives you good outings.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of him is that, people talk about innings eater. He's just not somebody you throw out there. He gives you quality starts every time he's out there. It was a really good signing, man. Like he's got a great delivery, so his arms never, his elbow, shoulder, never in peril. I mean, it's not sexy, right?
No, not at all.
But it works. And he works.
Yes. You know who is sexy?
Castellanos.
I think we got a clip of
he's the best.
Nick.
I gotta tell you,
when he's good, he's good.
When he goes off his thing, I love him. I mean, he's hysterical.
He makes the simplest things sound so intricate, especially when he's talking to the press. It is hilarious the way he talks about it.
Because he's just like, listen,
baseball player.
I don't watch. I just see the ball. I try to hit it as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Like, how great is that?
Yeah, let's take a look. I mean,
Hitting more than no one. I think he's been like 4th and 5th the last couple of weeks. Is that something important to you? Is that something you like to?
Is it
place you'd like to be?
So is it important to me? It's not important as a sense of like selfish, but knowing that my style of hitting, which is always like glorified batting practice, right? Like, that I don't really have an approach. I look for the baseball and hit it as hard as I can. Having protection behind me usually forces the pitcher to throw to me more when there are people behind me. If I'm on, let's say, like the cliff of the lineup where the power starts to drop off, now the approach is like, well, we don't have to throw as fast, right? That's hard for me because I don't think I've ever gone to the plate looking to walk.
I see the ball and I hit it as hard as I can.
I mean, how great is that?
That's all you got to do.
Is that great or what? I freaking love it.
Yeah. Dude, total thirst trap. The women at the bar when that was on the
Oh, my
screen.
bad.
Oh man, they were peeled. You couldn't even get a beer. The way the servers and the bartender just glued to Cassidy with that little hat and the shirtless with
He's
the
right.
hair.
He's cool, man.
Yeah.
He's got. I always listen. I find him. I find him amusing. Like he cracks me up. He's got a coolness about him. You know, I like the guy. Listen, listen. Shirt down, chains.
Yeah.
I would think that you're bothered by the neck.
Nah, he pulls it off. He pulls it off. He looks
He's
great.
an anti-neck guy.
But Nick.
We're neck people, Nick and I. We like the neck. Not the neck.
Show it off.
You might have to work on the pecs a little bit. Nick's got it going on.
yeah.
Man. You got the chains, you got the pecs. He looks good. He's all tanned up. Yeah, man.
But I find him like completely like amusing, and I think he has the swagger back. Like they had the swagger back. So you have a Castellanos night. Like there's going to be a Marsh night. There's going to be a Stott night. By the way, Marsh, did you take Marsh the other night?
No, I took Stott. You gave me Stott first and then Marsh. I took Stott.
No, gave you Marsh first, then I went Stott.
About that, I went Stott.
What you call it? Even said Brad said it.
Yeah, I went Stott. Damn.
But there's going to be a night. There's going to be nights for all of them now.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can see that they turned that corner, right? Like again, doesn't mean they're going to win every game, and they could get blown out today with Walker on the mound. But they've gotten that bad kind of that valley. Yeah. They've gotten through that. I think that's fair to say. No.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that Cassie had his night last night because if you kind of look at it since the All-Star break, cause like he has the highest batting average out of anyone who's had significant at bats. And like quietly, he's been super consistent too. 5 homers, 40 hits, and like especially in that middle lineup, and when you got that power from Nick Castellanos, this lineup is dangerous to hit him.
I think it's big moving them back to 5. It's hard batting 7th in this lineup and getting anything to hit with Rojas and Marsh behind you.
I know.
So Cassie, you push him up, he's going to see better pitches.
Yeah. Well, and listen again, we know what kind of hitter he is. He's dead red.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like dead red.
I mean, his last 24 games, he's hitting 292, 351 on base, 6 doubles, 3 home runs, 14 RBIs. He's had a good month.
It is interesting how the approach of how you pitch him. Because I would never throw him a fastball.
No,
right.
No.
Right? Like I would breaking ball him to death.
Breaking balls out of the zone to death.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean that's how I would the other night he had a really good at bat. He fought off a couple of those out of his zone. It was Sunday against Kansas City, and he pulled them foul. Like he stayed alive, like by just fouling them off. So he's seeing the ball. You can see he's seeing the ball pretty well right now.
But it's also too like he's not just a power hitter, right? Like he's a doubles king. Like this man gets so.
He's not a power hitter. Like the misnomer is.
I know because
he's a power hitter. He's not. He's really a run producer.
Yeah.
He's a gap doubles guy. That's who he is. Listen, I think his power numbers got inflated when he played in Cincinnati because that's a hitter's park. And we thought, even more so than Citizens Bank Park.
It's weird because I thought it'd be more. I thought they were inflated there, but they'd be more inflated here. But no, and he's a 20 home run guy.
Cincinnati is even a bigger homer park than CBP.
And let's not forget too. I was trying to see like dig into these Astros numbers. They're a first place team. They got 70 wins. They're third. They have the third highest batting average in baseball. So really good pitching by Wheeler and Nola.
Yeah.
The third fewest strikeouts in baseball as batters. I mean, it's a good Astros team.
Listen, they're always good.
Yeah,
they're always good, and I that's why I looked at this stretch and I was nervous, right? Because you had 3 to start with Atlanta, and then you're going to go to Kansas City, and we know how good Kansas City is. They take 2 or 3 from Kansas City. You come home against Houston. It's scary, right? You win the first 2 games of the series behind your 2 best pitchers. You're back. They're back.
The fans are back. The pub's alive. Everyone's screaming at the TV. All positive stuff now. And I like the lull. The lull was during like the preseason days of August.
Now he likes the lull.
Listen, I'm enjoying the ride.
They stink. Yeah. You work inconsolable.
That's part of the ride.
No, it's not part of the
You're the one who
ride.
loves a 3-hour movie with ups and downs and drama. That's what
I
this
do.
is. All right,
you know,
I'm in.
but you
I'm
were
in
in
on it.
control of every day.
Yeah.
Like that.
Don't you know someone who-
like, oh my God, I can't do
You need
this
some
show.
Salisbury
It's like you don't know
therapy.
someone who weeps in the middle of
I
the movie
do.
and then is like happy and laughing
But now
at
all of a
the
sudden
end.
you love the low.
Yeah.
Ah, it was great low.
It could-
I love the low.
Yeah,
you
looking
can't love
back
the
in
low.
retrospect, it was worth it now because we're out of the lull. Attitude's up. Kickoff's coming. We're just going to roll now into September.
Did I tell him that, Skeeves?
Something wrong with him.
Did I tell him that, though? Didn't I say that, listen, there's going to be a time you're going to forget all about this. This is actually, it's good to go through this lull then. I gave me that Philadelphia,
The
like his
Negadelphia.
grandfather, you're a bum.
Yeah, no,
They
definitely.
were
I remember
playing
you
like
saying
bums. They were bums. Now they're not bums. Now they're studs.
Down,
Now he loves the bump.
Down.
Yeah.
Now he loves the low.
I have
Loves the low.
yeah.
low
All right.
lover.
I have uncontrolled bipolar disorder.
Yeah,
Clearly.
Sports related bipolar
you
disorder.
do. You are. You're
I'm a
manic.
Philadelphia fan.
You're manic.
Yeah.
I grew up here as well.
Yeah, but you've had that spirit a little buttoned up, or because you've been trained as a professional journalist. I have not had that training. I haven't done 20 years of professional journalism. I can yell like a freak all I want and scream and
All I
cry.
know how to do is
That would be
crazy.
30 years.
All right, 30
Oh
years.
my God.
Yeah.
All right. Eagles cut down day. Let's get to it. Bradbury.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Brent Toth. Bradbury surprising. Bradbury surprising. I mean,
I was surprised. All
is he here to play
signs-
safety, or are they going to trade him?
What's that?
Is he here to stay? I mean, Howie was a little like, he wouldn't
But he
say
wants
whether
him.
he's here.
Listen, Sidney Brown is on PUP.
Yeah.
Right? So you got 4 weeks.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's like, let's manage it until Sidney Brown comes back.
All right, let's hope everyone stays healthy. I mean,
Yeah. I think that's how they're going to play it.
there's a good chance with Gardner Johnson and Avonte Maddox that Bradbury start in week 2. I mean, with the way injuries
Listen, I
pile
get
up.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I get it. I mean, Sidney Brown's a big deal
Yeah.
because, like, you know, terrific player. You get, as soon as you get him back from that knee injury,
Mhm.
it'll mean something. I can see that. Other than that, I mean, you know, again, I think they're going to add a second tight end
They
or a
have
third
to.
tight end that I think you need. And other than that, I mean, I think it's a really good roster.
Good roster. I mean,
Yeah.
the
You know.
Dylan McMahon is weird how
Yeah.
he never cuts draft picks.
Yeah.
So that was bizarre. But other than that, yeah.
Still need a backup center too.
Yeah, yeah. But overall, I think it's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, you know, like I said earlier to start, yeah. Do they have issues in depth? Okay, but when you have that good of a starting group, you're going to have depth. I mean, that's how it works. You know, in the salary cap world.
Yeah. And a lot of unprovens. I mean, people who should be good.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I agree. All right, we got a lot of stuff for you today. So coming up, we're going to talk to Zach Berman. You're already laughing.
No, Jimmy Korecki's like, Ant, let's bleep and go. I'm back.
Hey, Jimmy Gorecki. I
Love
love you,
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Love you, Jimmy. Zach Berman will join us coming up to go over the roster in about 5 minutes. And then, of course, the brain, Baldy, as he gets ready to go to Brazil. We have a comedian going to stop by, Chip Chantry, who's terrific. He's on the show Tires. Local guy. I love him. He's hysterical. He's coming up. We have another local director, Tony Yacenda, who directed Jason Kelsey and the Buffalo Wild Wings commercial. He's also got a show that he's developing about college football. Did a show on Hulu. So we got some entertainment stuff, big sports guys. So we're going to have some fun with those. As always, let's talk about Sleep Healthy PA. That's Dr. Andy Cohen. Dr. Andy, who I love. He's actually an amazing photographer. Yes.
Yeah?
This guy, he should be a
What?
professional
What?
photographer. His stuff is unbelievably good.
Wow. Okay.
This guy, like, it's funny, gifts. Like, so he's a brilliant guy. He's a trained dentist.
Yeah.
And he developed cures for sleep apnea. Right?
Well, a lot of time, these scientists with a little artistic creativity have breakthrough thoughts and inventions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it happened because, like, Dr. Andy, like these like really great thinkers, and that's what Dr. Andy is. He was helping his buddy. His buddy had cancer, and he's helping his friend. And he realized he was staying with him while he was going through treatments. And he realized he was keeping his friend up all night because he was snoring. So he developed these dental appliances on himself, and it worked. And he's like, "Oh wow, look at this!" And no more snoring. He didn't keep his buddy up, and so he decided to really get into Sleep Healthy, and that's where he started Sleep Healthy PA. You can go to sleephealthypa.com and stop the snore. Check out options for sleep apnea and all kinds of sleep disorders with Dr. Andy. Dental appliances, laser therapy. He's a really brilliant guy. And look, do yourself a favor. Health-wise, you got to stop the snore, man, because that affects you.
It's good self-awareness. Most snorers don't believe they snore. They don't know it, and they don't even believe it.
A lot of denial.
I don't snore.
There's a lot there. Skeets, he's a snorer. In fact, his girlfriend
There's dust mice
puts him
clogging
out.
up his nose when he's sleeping.
Yeah.
His comforter's full of dust mice, probably.
Yeah, it sounds like my house. All right.
Yeah, you got the mites.
Well, who knows? I got something. Dogs and kids.
Dander.
Yeah, there's everything going on. SleepHealthyPA.com. Go see Dr. Andy. You will love him. Trust me. And stop the snore. Tell us about Ace.
I got you. Well, listen.
Is
Snoring
the place
snoring is annoying.
for the helpful hardware folks.
That's right, cuz. Snoring is annoying. You know what else is annoying, guys? Listen, let's be fully transparent. All right, guys? Listen. What our wives giving us the honey to-do list, ragging us to fix things around the house is extremely annoying, and I completely get that. But we still got to do it, all right? Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You still got to do it, and there's only one place that'll help you get all these things done around the house. It's with Ace Hardware, folks, all right? Whether it be inside the house, fixing, a leaky pipe, your cooling is down. We still got some warm days. You need to make sure you get that fixed. Or if it's outside the house, you got to, mow the lawn, fix or clear the gutters, whatever it may be. Keep in mind Ace Hardware. They're everything you need for hardware supplies. And even better, if you really don't want to do it, you don't have to. Yes, you don't have to. Ace Hardware has trained professionals that can help you through all the different things you need around the house. And guys, what you need to do right now is go to acehardwarehomeservices.com. That's acehardwarehomeservices.com to check out their online home services, all right? Get your project started here today, whether it be in or outside the house, with their friends over at Ace Hardware. And as we say here, Ace is the place for the helpful hardware folks. Take it away, cuz.
All right, buddy. The helpful hardware folks. Love it. All right, now,
Love it.
you know what I love too? He does an amazing job covering the birds with Bo Wolf on our all PHLY Eagles show. Read them, become a diehard, and follow this man. Read this man. He is the great Zach Berman. Good morning, Zachariah.
Good morning. Good to talk to you guys.
So the big story, obviously, is Bradbury. And
Yeah.
making his roster. I think it's what? Because Sidney Brown's on PUP. You at least have that period while he's getting healthy. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think that's what they would like us to believe. I think it's more he's someone that they trust. He's respected in the building, rightfully so. I'm not sure he's going to be on the roster for a long time here. I mean, I imagine for both sides, the best scenario would have been to trade him. For the Eagles, there was no cap relief coming by cutting him. You're paying him the same whether he's on the team or if you cut him. There would have been some cap relief had you traded him. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Is that worst case scenario? He's someone who has played meaningful snaps for you, meaningful snaps in this league. But I don't like the idea of your third or fourth safety, your fourth safety really not contributing on special teams. So I think as they go through some of these roster decisions today on the waiver wire, maybe adding a tight end, maybe I don't know if they're going to add a backup center.
Is he the first out?
What's that? Yeah, I could see him being the first out at this point, if I'm being honest, just because I agree he is respected in that building and he's earned that. But I don't really quite know what his role is on the team right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it felt like they were like, well, he can do a lot of things. We don't love him in safety, but, let's keep him and see what happens kind of thing. So
Exactly.
that's kind of how I felt.
He's an NFL player. That's kind of the way they see it.
So I love the fact that Eli Ricks is still here. I was curious to see what would happen with Eli.
Yeah, I like that too, because I don't like the idea of moving on from a 22-year-old corner with that frame and coverage ability, someone who's still developing. And one thing Howie does when he puts his 53 together is he pays a lot of attention to vested veterans versus the waiver wire. So you're more apt to cut a guy like Oren Burks, let's say, or Nick Gates or Brett Toth, someone who's not exposed to waivers, compared to someone like Eli Ricks, who's going to be exposed to waivers. So, I don't think when they put this roster together, they're saying these are the 53 best guys. There's a lot of strategy involved, and I don't think Eli Ricks is someone who they could have gotten through to the practice squad. I think given the need around the league at corner, given that he had some decent film last year and he has upside, had they waived him, it is a luxury to keep, a sixth corner, but had they waived him, I don't think he'd be back on the practice squad.
So what do you think is next? Do you think they add that third tight end? I mean, Parham's out there, Stoll's out there. Do you think they add that piece?
Yeah, that needs to be the top priority here is the third tight end. You mentioned Donald Parham, someone we spoke about 2 days ago. Jack Stoll, someone they know quite well. The 49ers cut Cameron Letu, who was a third-round pick a year ago, got hurt, but big-time draft pedigree coming from Alabama. So there are some guys out there. The Eagles are going to go into the Brazil game with three tight ends. Now, it could be someone from the practice squad that they elevate, but I think at some point there's going to be a third tight end on the roster, and I think there are options here. I think the other big thing is backup center and figuring out what they do there. My guess is, at least in the short term, that's going to be a practice squad elevation. Nick Gates can do it. If they get him through, if they sign him to the practice squad, Brett Toth has done it. But I was surprised that the Eagles cut Dylan McMahon. Now, Dylan McMahon doesn't have the game day value for you because he's a one position guy. You don't want to have a backup center active who only plays one position. But I thought from a development perspective, that really surprised me.
Yeah. I guess you bring him back. You can always bring him back at some point. I stash him. I'm curious. I look at it and go, in its totality, it's a very good roster. People go, well, there are depth issues, which I would agree. But when you have that kind of top-heavy talent, you're going to have depth issues. That's just part of a cap world.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I do think it's a strong roster. I asked Howie yesterday, because we spend so much time talking about, Thomas Booker and Tristan McCollum, kind of the guys down the depth chart who make the team. But from a big picture perspective, you have this plan back in January, February of how you want this roster to look. This is mostly the group you're going into the season with. How do you think it is from a big picture global perspective? And he didn't want to answer it, right? And if I'm kind of deciphering it and haven't been around him for a decade plus, I think if he felt he needed to defend his roster, he would have. I think he knows it's a good roster and he doesn't kind of want to boast about it right now, but it is a top heavy roster. They don't have depth at some spots that they had in the past, but skill position wise, this is the best they've ever been. I'll defer to you on that from a historical context, but certainly from my time covering the team,
it's not even close.
The corners are the deepest they've been since I've covered this team. So I think that there's talent at spots where they've been deficient in the past.
All right, let me run a couple things by you. One, I know these polls don't mean anything, and I don't know if you saw the ESPN poll. I'm curious if they're going to be talking about that. I mean, it is what it is. But ESPN did a players poll, and they talked all about things. The best quarterbacks. They talked about the most overrated quarterbacks, and Jalen is number 2. It's Josh Allen 1, Jalen's 2, and Tua is 3 as the most overrated quarterbacks. They had an unnamed NFC East player who said that, how hard is it throwing jump balls to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, right? So, listen, it's an NFC East player, sour grapes, jealousy. There's a million things. but he did come in among his peers, the second most overrated player. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, first thing, well, if Josh Allen's the most overrated player, like sign me up for Josh Allen because
Exactly.
he is damn
that's
good.
exactly right.
But yeah, look, the point on Jalen, it is valid that he has a lot of talent around him, and there's a lot of quarterback or there are quarterbacks in this league who have to do more with less than Jalen has to do. But you evaluate Jalen for the conditions that he plays with, and at least in 2022 and parts of last year, he made he was doing his job with those players. AJ Brown's 2 best seasons have come with Jalen Hurts as his quarterback. It's kind of the argument that's used against Nick Sirianni is that the team's loaded. Well, that's the team you coach, right?
Right.
But I will also say, and I'm not going to diminish the polls because the players are the ones on the field, that they have these thoughts. But I've been in the locker room when they're filling out like the NFL Network Top 100, and I see the amount of time that they put into that.
Yeah,
it's literally looking around the locker room sometimes and jotting their friends' names down, right? But I do place value in the comments that these guys make, and NFC East defensive players are playing against Jalen. I saw a quarterback tier column on the Athletic that Mike Sando did the other day, and I heard there was an unnamed coach there who said that like the book's out on Jalen in terms of teams are going to zero blitz him until he shows that he can stop it. And I think there are legitimate questions about Jalen going into the year. But I also think that Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown have had a pair of 1,000-yard seasons with Jalen Hurts as their quarterback. He's the one throwing them the ball, right?
Yeah, I'm with you. And then, listen, if I'm the Eagles, I go, hey, Jalen, see this story? Just put it on your fridge, right? Just right on your fridge. So I want you to look at it every day. All right, because after the season, you could burn it and give everybody the finger, right? Like, truthfully, like, all right, we know that he's the key to the entire season. This whole notion's out there about the blitz and beating the blitz and beating pressure. This is it. The whole season hinges on how he handles it, and he's got all the weapons. And now, presumably, he's got a coordinator that he trusts to kind of walk him through it. But once he licks that, that's when this offense goes into, kind of warp speed.
You're correct about that. And, I'm not suggesting that I'm, best friends with Jalen or anything, but I've been around him now for 4+ years. My guess is for something like that, he acts like he doesn't know it exists. He doesn't concern himself with that. And then if they're in the Super Bowl or they're making a run late in the playoffs where he's playing well, he casually puts in a sly mention to something that came out back in August. So he's the kind of person who he acts like he doesn't care, he doesn't know, but he does kind of. I'm not sure if he puts it on his fridge, but I do think he's aware of these slights against him.
So how it's going to happen is it'll be the week before the NFC Championship game. And you'll ask him a question about his completion percentage and yards and touchdowns versus pressures and how good it's been. And he'll say, we trust this and, this and that and the coaches and everything. And I'll go, and then, I know people thought I couldn't do it, but, look, here's what 100%. I did.
That's the script. That's a script that he's doing, and then the fans are going to say that he dunked on the question and all that. This is I've seen this movie before.
You're right.
Yeah.
Hey Zach, I'm just fascinated with this Dylan McMahon stuff. What did he do? How he doesn't cut draft picks? So what's going on with this guy?
Yeah, good question, because this is the first draft pick they've cut since Jacoby Stevens in 2021. And I frankly thought he played decently this summer. I thought that when you looked at it, he played every snap really or almost every snap in the final preseason game. And I thought he was their second best center in camp. The way I see it is I think they were kind of looking at game day value and kind of value elsewhere. And he is a one position player. He's small. You're not going to line Dylan McMahon up at guard. He kind of has that Jason Kelce physique in terms of he's more of like your 280 pound center, if you will. So he moves well out there. I think it was all right. If he's not going to be active on game day, where does he help you? Because he's not going to be active on game day. That said, I disagree with Howie on this move here, because I've heard Howie say you use those roster spots 50, 51, 52, 53 for development and guys that you don't want to expose to waivers. And I'm not one of these reporters who like acts like every player that they waive is going to be cut elsewhere. I don't inflate, or is going to be claimed elsewhere. I don't inflate the view of them, but I also don't like taking risk on someone who does have decent value for you. So or potential value for you. So I would not have waived Dylan McMahon. I was surprised by that move. And if someone claims him today, it would be pretty short-sighted from my perspective.
Zach, I'm also a big Toth guy, a good Army kid, ROT instructor at Temple. Is he coming back?
Yeah, first off, good nugget there. And Toth, you can talk about the Army for days. He has some great anecdotes there. My guess is he is coming back to practice squad. So Brett Toth he's a player who he's been with the Eagles really since 2019. There was a period of time when he was in Carolina. He's been claimed elsewhere, but he hasn't really caught on elsewhere. It would surprise me if another team signs him to the active roster. I think that more likely he's back on practice squad and he's a potential elevation for them because he can play 5 different positions. I think the reason the Eagles cut someone like Brett Toth is they feel comfortable that they can get him to practice squad.
Nice.
All right, what's the schedule coming up? This is it, man. Brazil next week. When's your flight?
Yeah, my flight's late Tuesday night. So a week from yesterday through Miami, down in overnight flight down in probably in I'm excited for that. Land Wednesday morning.
Brazil.
So the Eagles are on the practice field. The Eagles are on the practice field in Brazil next week, actually Thursday. So we'll have all the coverage on PHLY. I'll jump on your show next week from Brazil. I'll try to get a hotel room where I can turn the computer, give everyone the visual of what's going on. Maybe I'll do it outside, so I can turn my phone around.
You got to do it outside.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. But
awesome.
The schedule for this week is this. The Eagles have practiced today at 3:00. And the reason it's a later practice for them is because the waiver claims go through at noon today. Then you could start filling out your practice squad. So noon's a big time to see. They have the 22nd claim. We'll see if they add someone, if someone gets to them there. They can also sign guys who are vested veterans. So pay attention to that. Then they put the practice squad together. So they're on the practice field at 3 today. Some players will talk before that at 2:00. Practice again tomorrow. The Eagles are off on Friday and Saturday. And then back at it for Packers week starting Sunday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Eagles practice. They fly out Wednesday. They don't have to fly commercial, so they don't have to deal with the layovers or anything like that. But they land Wednesday in Brazil. They have a practice in Brazil on Thursday, game night Friday night.
I like how Zach's clarifying this so the bosses don't think he's leaving earlier than the Eagles for an extra night of partying in Brazil.
Exactly. Yeah, I want to make sure that Anthony and Vince know that I'm being smart about
listen to me. You're talking to me. I'm the commandant. I'm the midnight gate man. All right. So you can do whatever you want, buddy. Like I go, you want to steal a day? Yeah, steal that. I used to build in a me afternoon to my trips. When I was in New York, I would travel. I was on the road like 250 nights a year. And so I would if I was in a cool place, like I would steal like a good 12 hours of beach time or sun time. Like I would always do that. I built it into how I made my flight. Sometimes I'd stay an extra day if I could get to the beach. You know what I mean? So, dude, do what you got to do, man.
Well, on that note, I got to start looking up flights to Rio. Yeah.
Dude,
I got to find a way to Rio.
What you do. So go take a day in Rio, man. I can't pay for it, but you can take a day, buddy. God bless.
Hey, guys, the question everyone wants to know, I couldn't do the math today. Who had the more accurate 53-man roster prediction, you or Bo?
I think I'd be Bo out, to be honest with you.
Nice.
Bo,
Wow.
now,
For sure.
I got to look at all Bo's. Bo is brilliant with putting the roster together, but he's sometimes, he's won this competition 3 times, but he sometimes gets a little cute for his own good, right? I think that's what happened here is that now this
Did
is
you
what I
have
love about Bo.
Bradbury?
I did not have Bradbury. No, I did have Darian Kennard and Thomas Booker, so felt good about those evaluations. But this is what I love about Bo. Okay, Bo will put the 53 together, and then the Eagles will put out theirs, and Bo will say they're wrong, right? My 53 was the one they should have gone with. They're wrong. That's what's great about Bo.
That's fabulous. I love it. Zach Berman cannot wait. It's like we're just talking about it. Can you believe it? A week from Friday. It's a week from tomorrow is the kickoff, is the opener. We're here. We finally made it. It's awesome.
I can't wait. A big college football weekend this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Irish.
awesome.
The Irish
This
and
is awesome.
A&M Saturday
Oh,
night.
yeah.
I am locked
My wife's already annoyed at me about the football schedule, and the season hasn't even started yet. So that's how I know we're at it, right?
Yes. Saturday night call. We'll break the tape down, all right?
Perfect. Can't wait.
Good stuff, my brother. Thanks, Z. Berman. You're the great Zach Berman, 2 o'clock today. Eagles show. Gotta love it.
You used to, when you do your little Brazil, you should pop the collar and do your little Brazil shit.
Yeah, because I would love to go to Brazil.
I would too.
I would love to go. I've never been to Brazil.
He's taking a similar
I've
flight
been
that I
all
take to
over,
Colombia.
Yeah.
Stop in Miami. Hate that.
I would love to go with you to Colombia.
Well, let's do a show.
I would. We got to build that in one time. We'll do the. I've always wanted to do a road, like a summer on the road, and do the show on the road, and meet listeners all over the place. Yeah, we could build that in someday. Once we blow up,
step.
right? We'll do it.
We'll get there, cuz.
All right,
we got this.
And where will we go in Cartagena, or we go to?
We'll go to Cartagena, a little beach. You want to go to Medellin, some greenery, some good food.
Yes,
I got
greenery.
Yeah.
Hey.
Can I do it? Do they have a Pablo tour?
They do. They have a Pablo museum.
Do they really?
Yeah. A lot of merchandise in there too.
Really?
Pablo merchandise is big in Colombia.
I bet.
Yeah,
I can
A lot
imagine.
of tourist shop where I got your guys' gifts. I saw Pablo keychains, magnets,
Really?
t-shirts, hats. You name it. They got it.
I love that. I hate to say it, but that Narcos, I love that show, man. I watched that show religiously. I loved it. It was incredible.
Cousin Columbia evaluating baseball prospects.
I would love it, man. That would be unbelievable. All right, listen, we missed him yesterday. He was flying, of course,
Oh,
right? From
private, probably.
Sure, right? Back
PJ?
to his villa in South Florida. He, of course, is the brain.
Brain. Red, the brain finder.
Spend the whole summer up here. You bolts before
He
Labor Day.
bolts before Labor Day because he knows.
No villa here, man. No villa. There's no villa here. Come on.
In South Florida, you got a villa.
Villa. Well, I actually kind of do, but my fiance doesn't want to live in the villa. She wants to live in the non-villa. So,
What do you got? You got a Salvador Dali behind you? What is that behind you?
Salvador.
I don't even know, man. Salvador Dali.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Stop it.
No, I'm a Dali fan. I mean, but for you, we think it's real.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, your means.
Yeah. A man of fine taste and big pockets.
By the way, Anthony, I liked what you said. I liked your idea very much, what you guys were just talking about. You travel during the summer and stuff. I thought that was a neat idea.
You show from all these places.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think it would be a really cool thing to do. I mean, obviously, may not be feasible with your family and schedule, but it actually would probably
bring them with me.
Oh, okay, yeah, it would really probably be like a fun, really cool thing.
Yeah,
So
I always wanted to do because there's Philadelphia fans everywhere across the world.
Yeah,
and I always wanted to pay homage and visit them. Like go all their places. Like we have fans that we know our buddies in England and Aiden from Dublin, Ireland, and we have
Australia is big.
Yeah, Australia. We have a couple friends of the show in Australia and New Zealand. We got Andy from India. I'd love to do that and go all around. Be fun.
Yeah, it's a great idea. It's really a great idea in my opinion.
Yeah, Chris, you got to pay for it. So that's the snafu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it always comes down to
I
have all the ideas in the world. You can't pay for it, so it doesn't matter.
But Anthony, listen, at least on a brighter note, listen, the fighting hometown team,
they're back. Brad, they're back, Brad. They got the mojo back.
Well, it was great seeing Nola, Anthony. I know I talked about it with you a couple shows ago. I was talking about Nola. Just seems like his swing and miss stuff hadn't quite been there, at least in the games I was watching, and his strikeouts hadn't been going down. And that's something I really think is a very important thing. Obviously, is that kind of stuff. And look, last night, when he pitched a 7-inning shutout, it was great to see against a solid Houston team. And look, it's good to see them back on this track, back on this path. And again, I keep saying this, it's so big. How much the leader from Milwaukee right now? Like 2.5?
2.5.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean,
They're
that's
tied with the Dodgers and 2.5 up over Milwaukee.
I cannot stress the importance of finishing with a top 2 seed.
I agree.
It's as big as anything that they need, but I think they will. I mean, they're better than Milwaukee. At least I think they are. But obviously getting that top 2 seed, and then plus again lets you avoid the Dodgers until the NLCS championship if it gets that far. So that's such a big thing. But obviously, love to see them playing well again.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. Couple things. One, the Brain brought to us by the Bet Park Sportsbook Casino app. Brain is the analyst for Bet Parks as we get ready for football season and all the great offers and all the great stuff you can find on the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. So let's look at football. Let's look at ahead to college football because we got a big card, man. Thursday and then Saturday's legitimate. It's back. So let's kind of go over some of the top 25 with you because I love college football. You and I both love it. What are you thinking, man? What are you thinking Thursday night? We got a couple of games. Thursday's kind of weak, but you got
Thursday. Thursday was
Minnesota is the one, and of course Colorado in action.
Yeah, I think the line was 2. Again, now obviously North Carolina obviously having to rebuild, losing Drake May. But I'll say this: look, I trust Coach Brown in terms of his infrastructure of his recruiting. That's been a team since he got there. Now, they hasn't really shown tremendously in the wins and losses. They haven't they've been good, but they've had a bunch of a lot of top 20 recruiting classes. It hasn't translated into a playoff appearance or anything like that. But I do think they have a higher talent level than Minnesota. The line's 2 right now on Parks. Would lean UNC. But again, because I just think the talent level is higher. But again, road game, opening day. I thought the line would come in between 2 and 3, and it did. So it's not like I loved it. But that would certainly be a lean for me because I just think talent-wise, they just have a better squad than Minnesota does.
All right, the other game Thursday that's interesting, Colorado, the Buffaloes, and Prime, North Dakota State. In fact,
interesting game.
It is interesting. Colorado's 10, which I think is bloated, and I'm looking at the total, 60.5. North Dakota State can move the ball. I like the over.
Yeah, and listen, what's the one thing we saw about Colorado last year, Anthony? With Sanders, obviously they were phenomenal offensively, but they really struggled defensively. And they had a lot of turnover in the offseason, especially defensively. So, I would agree with that. And look, what do we know about North Dakota State? They are perennially, a terrific FBS team that does great every single year. This is going to be a tough game. But again, I agree with you. More than the side, I do think points will be scored. And actually, I'll go as far to say I think North Dakota State could score 30.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So,
totally think so.
Obviously you have the favorite. When you have the favorite who theoretically needs to score, in the 30s, I think the underdog can score in the 30s here too. So this is a game where I feel like when both sides have the ball, I think they'll be goodness in terms of scoring. So I do agree with you on that, Anthony. I really do. And again, I think that Colorado. Again, I actually root for Dion. I think he's good for the sport. I know it seems like he's had like something. A lot of the media, local media, doesn't seem to like him. I saw they just banned. Did you see that thing, Anthony? Where they banned
Denver Post.
Do you know that writer out of curiosity?
I don't. I know of him, but I don't know him personally.
Yeah, I didn't know if you thought I'm just curious because, but it's interesting. You see, what's in his contract? He can get anyone banned that he wants. Did you see that?
I saw
it.
That's dangerous practice. I'll be honest with you. I do not like that practice of banning reporters, and it's dangerous. It's not good.
Well, yeah. Have you ever heard of anything like that happening in Philadelphia in terms of like someone like banning,
I've heard of reporters getting banned for different reasons across markets, but that is excessive. Like there's been vendettas against. And when I was in newspapers and I was in New York, it was a cauldron. And they hated the press. There were guys they hated, but they could not ban them. Friday night, this saddens me, Brad. The Temple Owls are 42.5-point underdogs in Norman. Now, they deserve to be every bit of that, but it's just sad just the same that they're getting 6 touchdowns plus against the Sooners.
Fried Owl.
It's interesting. I think it's a shame because, first of all, Temple I'm trying to think, I had like Temple last year, I think finishes like the 8th worst ranked team in terms of where they ranked in terms of their overall team, in terms of my final standings of last year. So think about that. They literally, and it's interesting, this may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing, Anthony. They only returned 7 starters. So you say to yourself, they have like the least experience of basically any team. I have Temple rated, honestly, like more or less at the bottom of all. I'm looking at my things. I have like New Mexico, UL Monroe, Kennesaw State. Like Temple is like bad. Now, again, I'm talking like really.
No, dude, listen. 63-3 is probably the final Friday night.
What is the first half line, Anthony? Because more so with Alabama.
We're going to check on the BetParks app. You got it?
In these type of games, Anthony, when you have a team that is a massive favorite, and Oklahoma is like a legitimate top 12 team.
Yes.
When you have a team like that, okay.
Yeah, it's 35-0 at halftime. Yeah.
Dude, I was going to say the exact same score.
Yeah.
Usually it's 35-0 at halftime, and then the second half is usually run, and you get out of Dodge, and it's usually 49-3 or something like that.
Yeah.
And the game is somewhat close to the spread. I would look Oklahoma first half because that does seem to me, Anthony, like it really can be the exact score that you said.
Yeah,
35-0. What they do, it used to be back in the day, Anthony. This was the great thing that pros should take advantage of. They would make it 21 both halves, but the sports books have wised up since then.
Yeah,
and it's probably going to be closer to I'm guessing 27, 28.
Yeah, we're looking for the VG's looking at it.
I don't see first half.
Let's go to Saturday because some great games on Saturday. Clemson and Georgia kickoff on ABC. This is a monster game. Number 1 versus number 14. Georgia 13.5.
Yeah, listen, it's interesting. Like, looking at my power numbers, I have that line lined at 13. I have it. I'm sorry, 14. I have it at 14. Look, Carson Beck to me, Anthony, I think he's terrific. It's interesting. They lose Stetson Bennett, and I didn't really know much about Carson Beck. Then I watched the guy. I'm like, wow, this guy's really good.
He's all that and a bag of chips.
Yeah, I think he could be the first pick in the draft. Maybe I'm off on that, but I think he's really good. Look, this Georgia team. Look, I think personally, I hate to say this, I think the best team in college this year is going to be Ohio State. Pray that I'm wrong, but I think Georgia's right there is the next best team.
Agreed.
And I like Oregon's another team because I think Dylan Gabriel's going to be really good there. But look, Clemson, it's interesting. Dabo to me, if you look at what he did there, Anthony, he kind of had like, it was kind of like, Clemson to me is a little bit like Villanova was, where they were not like, he made them an elite program, but theoretically, Villanova should not be like the top, theoretically. And again, you see when Coach Wright leaves, they haven't been, okay? Theoretically, when you look at Clemson, it's not a team that profiles like it should be like an Alabama, USC, Michigan, Ohio State kind of team. I think if Coach Sweeney were to leave there, that team would really go down. So I don't know if Dabo's ever going to get back, Anthony, to having the teams that they had when they were winning national championships with Sunshine and Deshaun Watson. I really don't. My lean here, again, I think the ACC personally.
I like Georgia. I think the ACC is overrated.
Yeah, I think the ACC is overrated. I think we saw like Florida State laid an egg. My numbers say around 14, but again, my gut tells me that this Georgia team is just better.
Lay it with the dogs.
Yeah, I mean, like this to me, just to me. Look, Cade Klubnik. To me, he's just like an average. I
don't say it with Klubnik. I don't. I'll be honest with you. All right, let's move on. We got a couple games I got to get to.
It's amazing.
I got to get to. I got to get to a couple games with you. So Penn State, West Virginia, the Knicks, number 9 in the country, and against the Mountaineers of West Virginia, noon.
Yeah, I bet, Anthony. I bet West Virginia. I took 10. The number's gone down since, but I did take 10 points here. Look, I mean, Penn State. I think Penn State's going to be good. It's not that I don't like Penn State. I think Penn State's going to be good. I just made this number closer to 8 in my numbers. I was able to take 10, but I'm pretty sure it's not 10 anymore.
It's 9 right now.
9. 8. Are using 8? They're using 8.
Yeah.
They're using 8, which is what I made the number again. So, like, I stress this to you when I come on this show. I'm not just giving something
we know
out.
that. I'm not holding you to that. I get it.
I mean, sometimes I think the number's right. When it was 10, I liked West Virginia. Now, again, this is, I think, Anthony, tell me if you agree with me, one of the biggest years that Franklin's had. I think you have to get out of that.
It's the playoffs now. You're not, the idea, you have to make the playoffs. Like the idea of, well, it's Michigan, Ohio State, and we're third, we're out. That doesn't cut it anymore. Now you got to make the playoffs.
You got to make the playoffs. And again, I really think that this is the year that Penn State, again, it's either they're going to show that they can stop being that. Every year what the thing is, Penn State, they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, Anthony. They returned, by the way, 13 starters this year, 6 on offense, 7 on defense.
I like them this year. I love the quarterback. I think they're good. Hey, last thing, we got a minute. Last thing, Notre Dame, the Irish against A&M. I cannot wait for that game. Irish.
Yeah, well, look, it's interesting, Anthony. Like Notre Dame to me, look, I like the path Notre Dame's on. I like what they did quarterback wise. It's interesting. Notre Dame to me, again, this is another team. Can they make the playoffs? Like this is, can they make the playoffs?
They should.
Will it actually finally happen for them? Look, I think that Notre Dame. I think the only side I could be on personally is the Notre Dame side here, Anthony. They're taking 3. Now, A&M's a team, Anthony, that perpetually you look every year in the recruiting, they're always number 1, literally always number 1, number 2. But I think Notre Dame, look, I like the quarterback. I think he was great at Duke, and I think they can win this game outright. My numbers, I have this line only at 1, and it's 3.
Yeah. I'm with you.
3.
Blue Horseshoe loves the Irish, according to my man Boo Rodden. All right? What are you looking at?
I mean,
than you Irish folks. A&M, baby. A&M.
Yeah, I knew you were going.
I mean,
A&M minus 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah, man. It's a route.
You think you think A&M's going to buy a touchdown?
I don't know, Brad. I don't know anything about college football. I just hate the Irish.
He hates Notre Dame. He's just a hater. That's what he is. Doesn't even follow it. I'm inside Notre Dame. Brain, we love you, buddy. Ben Parks out.
All right, man. I'll meet you guys later.
See you, buddy. The brain. Check it in.
He's like, where are you getting a 6.5 line? He was confused. He's like, I didn't see
Yeah,
that
I got
line in all my
confused.
crunches.
He
I
was
didn't see that
confused
line."
because you just pull out of all the nonsense.
Yeah,
I'm going to shake Muradin on
we
you,
got to get
man.
your boy Eddie Wright's got to help us out. There's an Eddie Wright clone in the chat, and they don't know who's who.
Oh, really?
Tell Eddie to tell us which one's him.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, he's got to tell him to list his clients, and then you'll find it. Hey, let's talk about the Bet Park Sportsbook Casino app. I tell you about it all the time, and it's football time. It's college football time, so there's no better time to download this incredible sportsbook online casino app. So listen, do yourself a favor. Get in on it. In fact, new customers, you get the 50-1 super odds boost. That's right. You just figure out who's going to win the big game, right? And you get 50-1. Yeah. I can imagine that 50-1 on who's going to win the big game. And by the way, there's some picks. I hate to say this, but Oklahoma will trounce Temple. And at 42.5, it's almost a steal. It's sad. Oh, it's ugly and sad. But there are a couple of games I like. I love North Dakota State. I told you I like the over. I do like I like Notre Dame. I love Georgia. I don't think Clemson stays with Georgia. Carson Beck is the truth. It's some good stuff, man. So check it out. It's already started. The Bet Park Sportsbook Online Casino. And don't forget, you're playing games and all. You can do like VG and play a little Baccarat. Live Baccarat, live blackjack, live dealer. It's right there all on your phone. You got to check it out. It's awesome. You go to betparks.com for all of the details, like the 50-1 super odds booth that you receive, all kinds of stuff for all things Bet Parks. You got to be in PA, New Jersey, Ohio, Maryland, Michigan. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Bet Park Sportsbook Online Casino app. All right, let's talk about True Fan Travel. In fact, we were talking about Brazil, right? And so Brazil, True Fan Travel is going to Brazil. That's Phillies Sports Trips. My man Vince. And you know who's going to be hosting the trip?
Yeah, I can guess.
Baldy!
Let's go.
Baldy will be hosting the Brazil trip. Oh, my God.
We need some Brazilian music to play.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, when we talk about it with
figure
Baldy's
that out?
on.
I'll figure some out.
Yeah,
I'll
figure
figure
something out.
Baldy. It's some Brazilian
We'll
music.
have some by the end of the week.
Listen, do yourself a
By
favor.
the end of the week. It's the internet.
Look at
He's
the
gonna get
dancers.
It's Wednesday. He's going to get us Brazilian music by the end of the week.
Next week, you better be
48
buttoned
hours.
up.
48 hours.
Get some Zumba
Buttoned up.
dancers.
It's real next week.
Tomorrow's basically the end of the week anyway.
Dude, my
all right?
14-year-old nephew's already sent me Brazilian music, 10 files. I mean, come on. Get with it. Skeeves.
All right.
End of the week.
Go to truefantravel.com, phillysportstrips.com. See the journeys. There's nothing like traveling with your friends and your Eagles brethren or your Phillies brethren, Sixers, Flyers, or your home teams. Traveling with those fan bases, you're making friends. It's a natural, it's a blast. They got a New Orleans trip, charter. So you're going out with all Philly people, with all Birds people. You're going to travel first class, your own charter, New Orleans. You can't beat this. This thing's a blast. Brian Dawkins, my man Angelo Cataldi. It's going to be a fun trip. Make sure you check out the New Orleans trip. The LA trip is amazing. I love that. Shady McCoy will be on that trip. And Deshaun Jackson. So that's fun. And then Tampa. How about going to Tampa and seeing the Buccaneers down there? We love the weather. We know Tampa and Clearwater. Speaking of Clearwater, not too late to book, not too early to book your spring training trips. All right? Make a memory. Book a trip. phillysportstrips.com, truefantravel.com. All right. 10 o'clock hour presented by Rite Aid. Get all of your favorite goods, any scripts you need, over-the-counter meds at Rite Aid, riteaid.com for the nearest location. And joining us right now, he'll be poised, headed to Brazil. Then here's a man who knows Brazil, the one, the only, Baldy.
Baldy. Oh, let's talk some football. Baldy. Oh, he likes meats and football. Oh, Baldy.
Oh, Baldy. Count the days down till my man goes to one of his favorite continents, South America.
To the bone, to the vein. Absolutely, man. I can't wait. Next Tuesday, guys. I've been working on my Portuguese. Flying to Rio next Tuesday on, of course, the great Philly sports trips. Can't wait to see Vince and the gang and all the 200 Eagle fans that are heading down there. You know, it's interesting. Like, I've been to Brazil. My first trip to Brazil, cuz, was 1986. I went with my brother and a friend. We went for Carnival. After the season, it was ridiculous. All right, and I've been down there for World Cup. I've been down there. We bought a Varig Air Pass one year where you could fly anywhere in Brazil for $300. So we went to the Amazon and we went all over. So I've been down there a bunch of times. But it's interesting because of this game, they actually have lifted all the restrictions on getting a visa. So you always needed a visa to go to Brazil. I was there for the World Cup in 2014. You had to get your visa. You know, they lifted all the restrictions so NFL fans can actually go down there without having to go through the visa process.
Wow, that's wild. What's the give some Eagle fans some tips, right? Like, you know, what's the best way to do Brazil?
Well, they're all flying into Rio de Janeiro. They're staying in Ipanema, the Hotel National, which is a great spot. Ipanema Beach, Copacabana Beach, some of the legendary places. You got to go up to Corcovado. You know, the statue that the French built. The French built all the statues in this world, Statue of Liberty. But the Corcovado statue up there, they light it up at night. You can see it from everywhere, the cross. But you can see it's a magnificent view of Rio and all the way that it's built in and around all these mountaintops. One of those mountaintops is Corcovado. You got to take, one of those express lifts to go to the top of Corcovado and see it. So amazing views. And then they're going to Sao Paulo. They're staying on a lake outside the city. It's just a massive, massive city. It's probably, if you encompass all the surrounding areas to Sao Paulo, it's probably 25 million people. It's just a massive city. And then look, you go to any sporting event in Brazil, it is a wild, raucous atmosphere. Like, it's going to feel like Mardi Gras, a concert, and a Saturday night SEC football game. It's going to have, combine all those elements.
Wow, man. I can only imagine it, that whole thing. What's your favorite, your favorite fare? What's your best food, your Brazilian food?
I mean, the Argentinians and the Brazilians have a century-long battle over who cooks the best meat.
Yeah.
Churrasco.
I mean, it's like the Argentinians created their own grill on how they cook it. All right. The Brazilians cook it in a different style, but it's the largest meat producing nation in the world. So you go to a churrascaria, it's the original meat house, all the trimmings and all that stuff. You can go to high-end places where they're going to charge you, I don't know, currently, like $70 a plate. You go to the low-end place, it's still going to be the same meat. You probably get it for $15, a plate. But regardless, you gotta pay your respects to the best meat-producing country in the world.
That's my favorite. I love seeing that.
I love it. You got to respect the meat. This is the Meatlocker. Respect the meat.
Hey, Baldy, can you help me out, man? I don't do the meat. Can you give me a good Brazilian cocktail?
Yes, a caipirinha. A caipirinha.
Aldi knows.
It's like tequila. We started drinking caipirinhas in a Rio airport one night. Got carried away, missed our flight. We're trying to figure out without, your phones back then, like how the hell do we get on the same plane the next day? That's a caipirinha. That's a caipirinha evening.
Makes sense.
Well, I love that drink. That's Brazilian firewater, right? And the sugar cane with mint and lime.
Yeah, if you get actual fresh squeezed sugar cane juice, you would never drink your espresso again.
Yeah.
There's nothing that has an instantaneous kick like sugar cane, fresh squeezed sugar cane.
Yeah.
Nothing compares.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man.
You won't blink. You won't even blink for an hour. Like you just like this.
Baldi,
Yeah,
você
like that.
Baldi, você fala português?
Fala português. Yeah, tudo bem.
He's a legend. Would you ask him? How much do you speak Portuguese? Yeah.
No, but like there's certain words and phrases like po. Like po is just like, oh, that's awesome. You know, like they just have these, these street language, like, just a street language, that anybody could pick up on in a couple of hours.
Yeah. They are, by the way, the most beautiful women in Brazil.
Oh, I'm doing a breakdown from Copacabana Beach.
Dude, all these breakdowns of the beach.
Oh, we need a beach.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Wow.
I mean, I just think that Brazilian that invented the thong, like they should get like international awards, like they should get
like a Nobel Prize.
What could be better than a great looking woman? It's the home of the thong.
Well, the debate, Baldi will, he'll have his Brazilians, and I'll talk about
dude,
my
I hear you.
Baldi's at the groundbreaking of the Thong Museum in Brazil.
Man. There's nothing better.
Yes, let's get that started.
Yeah.
Oh, this is awesome.
Nothing better, man. All right, to football we go. We are just from tomorrow, a week from tomorrow for the opening kickoff of the NFL. College football already started. I was already charting Georgia Tech and Florida State live from Dublin. So wreck Florida State or Fugazi. The ACC's a Fugazi. Let me hit you with Baldi's burners. 10 Baldi's burners. 1. ESPN poll among NFL players says Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Tua are the 3 most overrated quarterbacks. One NFC East player on Hurts said all he does is throw jump balls to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Is it pure jealousy from that NFC East player, or is there a degree of truth?
No, I mean, that's Fugazi. I mean, nobody. The Eagles have started 8-0 and 10-0 in the last 2 seasons. Nobody has gotten off to better. And he started every one of those games. And he's been to a Super Bowl within, minutes of winning a Super Bowl. Like, that's not Fugazi at all. All right? Now, look, the most important coaching done in all of sports is football. You give any quarterback a lousy game plan and a bad coordinator, and you simplify your offense to the point where we're calling out plays, that's going to hinder any quarterback. Josh Allen has just won 4 straight division titles. Like, they own the AFC East. Like anybody that would say that he is overrated, the guy accounted for 51 touchdowns last year.
I don't get that a little bit. I mean,
it's
but I mean, Josh Allen, are you kidding me? They cited his turnovers. Who cares?
Well, look, I mean, Brett Favre is the all-time interceptor leader. He has 4 MVP awards and a Super Bowl to his name.
Yeah.
You're not winning a Super Bowl if you're not putting the ball up for grabs, if you're not taking chances. If you just want to play it safe, we had a quarterback in Philadelphia that played it safe. Like, we never won anything. Great quarterback, great stats, borderline Hall of Fame player. We had that. But if you're not taking chances and you're not putting the ball maybe in harm's way at times, then you're not trying to win.
Yep. Question number 2. Baldy's best offensive line in the NFC and his best offensive line in the AFC.
Well, I'd probably say Creed Humphrey right now in the AFC. Just became the all-time leading, highest paid center of all time. Creed Humphrey.
I'm talking your best units.
Oh, units. Okay. I didn't know you were talking about individuals. I would say right now it's a toss-up in the NFC between Detroit and Philadelphia. I don't know who's playing right guard yet. I don't know if it's Mackay, if it's Tyler Steen, if it's Trevor Keegan. I don't know. Maybe somebody else knows inside.
We're hearing Mackay, so we'll see.
Okay. Well, I mean, Mackay's never played right guard. He's had a hard time. I love Mackay. Like, nobody has more power than he does. I know Lane's excited about playing next to him, but he's had a hard time staying on the field. So I would say between Detroit and Philadelphia, and then I'd say, like, I'm interested in looking at this Suamataia in Kansas City, this rookie left tackle.
Yeah, and
he's one out there. But, Trey Smith, Creed, like that group is, I think that's the best right now in the AFC.
Yeah, Andy loves that kid, by the way. We're talking about it.
And he's got his tentacles in BYU, so that doesn't surprise me.
Oh, yeah. Baldy's best D-line in the NFC and the AFC.
Well, I would say if Hassan Reddick actually comes and plays, I would say the Jets have the best D-line in the AFC. In the NFC right now, I would say I can't put the Eagles there for sure because I have question marks about a lot of their
edge,
players, their edge guys. But right now in the NFC,
well, you like Detroit? You like Detroit? I mean, I like. Detroit.
I like Detroit, but I don't think they have to take it over. I would say. Wow, that's tough.
Bears have a good front.
No, I would say Cleveland right now. I would say Cleveland.
No, NFC.
Oh, in the NFC. Oh, yeah. Cleveland or Pittsburgh. Because Nick Herbig is a beast.
Yeah.
We got to go NFC. Man, I don't have one that's better than anybody else right now in the AFC.
That's all. Listen, this is we tap into your brilliance. Baldy's surprise team in the NFC and the AFC. So each conference, a surprise team.
I'll say Tampa in the NFC. I think Tampa is going to go for their fourth straight division title. I quietly like the young talent on that team to go with their veterans of Mike Evans, Levante, Vita. They got a really good mix. And then I would say in the AFC, like, I can't go against the Jets. Like, I know that they're a cursed franchise, and everybody's expecting the wheels to come off at some point. But if they don't, then I think they're going to surprise a lot of people.
It will be interesting because if Rodgers stays healthy, he's dangerous, man. He just is.
Well, he's not just dangerous. He's just so smart. Like, I don't think anybody plays the game with his knowledge level that he does. Into a bad play, into a good play, out of a bad play, situation football. You need the clutch play. Like, I don't know. I don't think there's anybody better.
Baldy's
outside of Mahomes.
So give me this. Baldy's players, one player in the AFC, one player in the NFC, who are poised for a breakout season.
I would say it's a toss-up in the NFC between Jalen Carter in Philadelphia and Jamison Williams in Detroit.
Yeah,
I think both those guys could be Pro Bowl players this year.
I like that.
And I would say in the AFC, it's hard to go against Devon Achane right now. In what he averaged 8 yards a carry last year in over 100 carries. I mean, the way that they run the ball, the scheme, his talent. I know Mostert is there. I know Jalen Wright is there, the rookie, but Achane looks like he's poised to bust out.
Yeah, I'm with you. How about this one? Give me your most anticipated matchups. Like, who's Baldy looking forward to see go toe-to-toe?
Well, I mean, like next Thursday, Baltimore, Kansas City. I think that's going to be a classic right there in Kansas City. I think the following week, Cincinnati goes to Kansas City. We'll see Joe Burrow. And I think Joe is like he could be in the MVP conversation this year, especially if Jamar gets in there and starts and really plays. So I think that. And then week 8 or week 7, Kansas City goes to San Francisco, like Super Bowl rematch. Like those 3 games off the top of my head. I mean, I'm going to be in Indianapolis week 1. Houston's going to be good. A lot of games, teams against Houston. I think a lot of those AFC South games, Houston, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, even Tennessee to a degree, I think they're all going to be really good games.
Yeah, that's going to be fun division. That's going to be good rivalry between Houston and Indy. I'm curious about Anthony Richardson.
Me too.
He could be. He's kind of an X factor, right?
No doubt.
All right. How about this? Baldy picks the division winners. So here we go. We'll start in the AFC, and we'll go AFC West.
Kansas City.
AFC North.
I'll go Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. AFC South.
I'll go Houston.
Yep. AFC East.
I'll go Jets.
Jets. Wow. Over the Bills.
AECSS. Yeah, Jets.
Jets. All right. Yeah. NFC West.
I got a toss-up between San Francisco and the Rams. I think San Francisco is going to get these deals done. I'll take the 49ers.
All right. Niners it is. How about the North?
Detroit.
Yep. The South.
I'll take Tampa over Atlanta.
Wow, you love your Buccaneers, man. You're high on the Bucs.
I am.
And then finally, the NFC East. The Birds.
Yeah.
The Birds. What'd you make of Jerry this week? Jerry all over the headlines saying, listen, I'm the GM. Nobody does it more than me. It's my team. And God bless him. I'll be honest with you. If I was a billionaire owner, I'd be the same way. I'd hire you. Me and you would be in a room all day.
Well, I mean, look, I know it's the rival team. I get all that. But I'm a fan of Jerry. I just am. I went to his 60th birthday party in Dallas. He's 82 now. Well, he's going to be 80. He's going to be 82 this year. Like, I'm just a fan of the guy, how he lives his life, what he's built from nothing. Look, you can debate the Cowboys all you want, and from Troy Aikman on down, they'll tell you they haven't done anything in 29 years. And it's true. But they have drafted well. I mean, Micah, CD, Dak, some of these linemen, Zach Martin, like it looks, they draft well. They hit on their picks. Does Jerry get in the way of things too much? Does he? Probably all those things. But if you own the team, you own the team. Like you get the right to do all those things. And he's earned that right.
Yeah, I feel you. All right, give me this one. Baldy's 3 meets to watch this season. Your 3 favorite meets.
I got a picture. I got a photo last night from somebody of Chris Long and Lane Johnson at Lane's house. Like, it's hard to go against Lane. The guy, Chris Long was there, so he's texting me. And I'm like, is Lane, is he stretching his Achilles right now? Is he stretching out his toes? Has he gone into the barn and done a body part right now? Is somebody in the other room doing, chiropractic on him? The guy never stops, ever. Like, he wants to be a Hall of Fame player. He just does. Like, the guy is, the guy's an amazing, amazing player. Like, it starts there for me.
I love Lane. I'm with you, man. That's a great call. I'm number 2.
I'll go Jalen Carter. I think if you went into the lab and had to construct a modern-day defensive tackle, it would be Jalen Carter. The guy is built like a refrigerator from the waist down. His balance is unreal. His power is unmatched. I know there's Chris Jones, and he's been, after Aaron Donald stepped away, like he's the benchmark. But I think Jalen Carter is going to be a guy I'm going to enjoy breaking down this year. And then I'll say Grant Barton. I mean, he's a Dookie, but Grant Barton in Tampa is going to make a difference. Like, that guy is one hell of a football player already.
And finally, because we did the Eagles and Brazil tips, what are the big headlines, Baldy, in the league after week 4? What are we talking about?
Okay, it's good. I like that. Look, I think Aaron is going to be story number one, week in, week out. They open up in San Francisco on Monday night. I think Aaron's going to be a story. Whether he plays well, doesn't play well, stays healthy. Aaron is the story. So I think that's one. I think the return of Joe Burrow healthy, that guy is certainly capable of winning an MVP. I think the Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts relationship will be under a microscope, especially whether they're playing well and getting off to another fast start or if they're not playing well. That storyline isn't going to go away in the first month of the season. It's going to be right there, dead set center. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a story, regardless of what happens. If Chicago gets off to a fast, they play the NFC or the AFC South the first 3 weeks. They play the Tennessee Titans at home. They go to Houston. They go to Indianapolis. They play the AFC South the first 3 weeks. And we're all going to be watching, we always do, the first pick in the draft, all the hype, Hard Knocks, the talent around them. Chicago and Caleb is going to be a story.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Baldy, you had mentioned with the Lane Johnson stretching his toes. Is that actually something you do, toe stretches?
I don't do them, but he has this plastic wedge that goes in between each toe. And he's in the house watching TV, eating dinner. He's stretching his toes.
Huh.
Like those angle boards where you stretch your Achilles on.
Yeah.
He's probably broken 6 of them, in the last few years. The guy,
Wow.
He'll go out to the barn in his backyard. He'll go do deadlifts, put on 500 pounds and do deadlifts or pull-ups, for 30 minutes. The guy's maniacal, man.
Yeah, that board, it's such a powerful thing. And you need it for that. He is amazing. Baldy, so finally, and I'm curious to see how you approach this. When you have your season rituals, what's one of your rituals that when you look at the game and the season beginning that you do, that you take part?
Well, I'll give you one. Week 2, I'm in Kansas City. So Cincinnati plays Kansas City. I'm there. So I'll be at Arrowhead. So I can't fly out. You can't get a flight out to Philadelphia after the game, right? So late game. Game's going to finish at 7 o'clock, Kansas City. So I can't get out till 6 in the morning. So what I do is I bring my computer, I plug it in, I log on, and while that game is being played, the 1 o'clock games will be uploaded. So I'll stay in Arrowhead. It'll be me, a bunch of pigeons, and cleaners cleaning up Arrowhead at 9 o'clock at night, and I'll be in the stadium just watching the 1 o'clock games. I'll be there till 11 o'clock. I'll get an Uber, or if I have a car, I'll drive to the hotel, fly out at 6. But in all away games where I can't get out that night, I stay in the stadium, and I start, I can't wait to watch what happened to the Eagles, in the 1 o'clock window.
That's interesting. So you don't go back to the hotel, you stay at the stadium.
Well, first of all, you're an hour and a half to get out of the parking lot in Kansas City. So you're just wasting time. So literally, I'll go get the game ends. I'll say goodbye to everybody. I'll have getting ready for the Sunday night game. I'll go get a cup of coffee and I'll sit down in my booth and I'll plug in. I'll just start watching the 1 o'clock games game by game.
Yeah, I love that. So I missed the empty stadium, man. I love the empty stadium.
Something tells me Baldy's not staying late in Brazil. We'll be out on the town and getting out of that stadium.
Booking it.
Well, here's the deal about that. So, we have an hour pregame show for the Eagles game on NFL Network. So I'm doing stuff down on the field, right? So I'm doing a pregame hits down there, which I'm really excited about doing, watching the game. But I have to get to Indianapolis for a 1 o'clock kick on Sunday. So right now, this is a little dangerous and a little dicey. So I'm on this flight with all these NFL executives from Sao Paulo to Philadelphia at 10 o'clock Saturday morning. We arrive in Philly at 6. So I'm trusting that just because the suits in the NFL are on this flight, because there's no flight to New York. So they're getting off in Philly and they're going to limo it up to New York, whatever. So I'm trusting that flight's taken off and we're leaving. So I land at 6. I have a flight at 8:30 to Chicago. And then I'm driving from Chicago to Indy, which is 3 hours. So I get into Indy sometime around 2 or 3 in the morning. And we have a kickoff at 1. And I'm already saying, like, if something happens to that connection from Philadelphia to Chicago, I'm just driving 10 hours from Philadelphia to Indianapolis. And I'll just do the game on no sleep.
Yeah.
So that's the plan right now.
I like
it. I don't know about the late night Sao Paulo thing yet. I'm sure I'll do something, but I don't know how much.
Leading up to the game, you got time before the game. That weekend's dicey. We love you, buddy. It's going to be amazing. We'll talk to you.
You like the sweatshirt, cuz?
Yo.
Dude, I mean,
where this way?
Where's Ty?
Well, the Meatlocker starts next week, cuz. I'll get them for you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
So the logo's going to get bigger. We got all the merchandise. So we'll get you all fixed up.
BaldiesBreakdowns.com.
That's it. You go shop away. Like shop for your friends. Like
I like hats. I like hoodies.
Yeah, man.
I need that.
It's so cool.
Hats, man.
BaldiesBreakdowns.com. It's nothing.
And by the way, we have a women's shopping section too. Evidently,
Baldy thongs.
Yeah.
You got thongs on there, Baldy?
Huh?
You got some thongs in the women's shop?
That's we got to get that done.
Yeah, let's go.
Yes. Maybe what we
Let's
do,
go back. Rewind that.
Maybe what we do is we get a Baldies Breakdowns tattoo.
Yeah.
You can tattoo it right on one of your teeth.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's a hell of a breakdown. I'm down. You're the greatest, brother. We love you.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you, buddy.
There he is, the one, the only Baldy. A Baldy breakdown of the thong. Wow.
That'd be awesome.
That's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Casper says a piece of meat on the front part of the thong.
Oh, my God. Casper, I had some ideas, but I wasn't going to say it out loud, okay?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. All right. Let's talk about Parks Casino, Street Road, Ben Salem. The great Parks Casino. It's where you got to be. Everything, man. It starts today, the $5 Epic Happy Hour. But there's all of it, right? The action, excitement, entertainment, the number one casino of all of Pennsylvania. Parks Casino, this is how you win. The Liberty Bell Happy Hour, the beer garden there. It's ridiculous seating inside and outside. You got live entertainment like every Friday, every weekend. The 360 Lounge. Dine at one of the award-winning restaurants, Parks Grill Steakhouse, the Liberty Bell Gastropub. How about the Bamboo Noodle House and the delicious hand-rolled sushi?
Love noodle houses.
Yeah, I'm a noodle house man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a soupsman.
Yes. Soupsman.
Like I love the Asian soup. Yeah. That'll heal anything.
Oh, yeah.
The Rite Aid needs to get it.
It's called Cup of Noodles, cuz.
Right? 3,200 starts, state-of-the-art slots, 115 live table games. Come on, it's the only reason why your casino of choice has to be Parks Casino. All roads lead to Parks Casino. Headliners coming to the 1,500-seat Excite Center at Parks Casino. Tiffany Haddish, September 27th. JB Smooth, September 20th. You got it all. Got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Parks Casino. This is how you win, JP.
All right, ladies.
What's going on at PHLY?
Well, everything is going on here, ladies and gents. All right. So first off, thank you so much for tuning on in. We really, really appreciate it. Make sure you're hitting that like button and you are subscribed not only for this show, but all the great beat shows that we have here at PHLY Sports. And if you are someone who would prefer to listen over watch, we got you as well. Wherever you stream podcasts, from Apple, Google, and Spotify, you can stream us. All right. Make sure you guys are subscribing there, and we would appreciate if you could subscribe there as well. But speaking of PHLY Sports, here's what's on the docket here today. Following us at 1 p.m., I will be on with Bill Matz. We'll be talking some Flyers in the offseason. At 2 p.m., we have PHLY Eagles going live. At 3 p.m., PHLY Sixers. And then tonight, PHLY Phillies has you covered for the series finale here against the Astros. They'll have the postgame show live for you. It'll be a lot of fun. But speaking of PHLY Phils, guys, listen, this week we have a watch party. I'm so excited. I'm so juiced because these watch parties are freaking awesome. All right. So on tomorrow will be a top tomato for the series start against the Braves, those Bravos. We have some really good stuff. All right. We have $1 12-ounce cans, $1 hot dogs. Obviously, Jamie Lynch, Renee Washington, Tyler Zulli. That's the best part about the watch party. But we'll be giving out some tickets. They will have different raffles as well. So a lot of fun stuff. So that's what's going on here at PHLY Sports. Again, we appreciate you guys showing some love there.
All right, buddy. Good stuff, my man. Very excited because coming up soon, this is going to be fun. We love all of our stuff, and I love Phil. I love our people. Right? We have an array of talented people. So we're going to talk to an incredibly funny guy, and we're going to talk to a great director. And it's so cool. I love what we do here. So Chip Chantry, you'll know from a lot of things. One, he's hysterical. He's funny as all get out. The show Tires, he's in, which is the Shane show. He's unbelievable, right? Like, it's awesome. And he's a Birds guy. And he's living in South Philadelphia. And I love the fact, Chip, that you come in all eagled up.
I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go. Although before we get into the Birds, I do have to say that I was listening. I could hear sort of in the studio. Did Baldinger say that the Jets are going to win the division?
Yes.
This year.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the Jets right now, but like that's kind of like saying like Steven Seagal is going to win that Oscar. That doesn't seem to be my take, but I mean, good for him. Hopefully, good luck. But yeah, I live in I can hear when the Birds win, like when they get a touchdown. Like I can hear it in my house. Like that's
what neighborhood are you in South Philly?
16th and Wolf. St. Monica's Parish.
Oh my God, I was St. Monica's kids. Yeah. I love the fact that you're down there,
heading down the barrels all the time. Chicken parm. Yeah.
So there used to be a bar right on 18th and right there called Malone's.
Okay.
And they sold it a while ago, and that was like a hangout. And then the South Philly Tap Room, which is near there.
Yeah, right on 19th.
You're right. Which used to be another bar. Like these were like local, like corner bars with the ladies' entrance. There used to have a ladies' entrance.
That's amazing.
Right? Like in another world.
Did the ladies use it then?
Yes.
That's
like it really was for. Yeah. They would go in the side. They didn't want the women to go in the front because it was not, not kosher or whatever. They thought it was like beneath them.
Yeah.
So they had their own entrance.
Man, that's
bizarre, right? Like the reason why I bring this up to you is I love your house.
Oh, thank
you. Because I know that house. It was my grandmother's house.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you have explain to people where you what the decor is of your house.
So we fell backwards in this house last year. This gentleman in 1965 stripped it down, and there's a picture. And if you look to the left, that pulls down like a Murphy bed. That's a turntable right there.
Oh my God!
So
this
awesome. Guy, he made it to the height of fashion and technology for 1965. It has not been touched. It has not been touched. That's my basement right there.
That's beautiful.
It came like that. There's a mirror ball. This was definitely a speakeasy. The basement bars. Like behind that one speaker, there's actually, it's not working anymore, but there used to be a vent that pulled out cigarette smoke. So look at I'm not going to say anything.
Dude, that's fabulous.
Look at the glass top coffee tables. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh my God.
The black glass coffee tables. God only knows what was going on in that basement.
So there was, in the neighborhood, there were after hour clubs littered throughout the neighborhood where you knew basically it was a knock, a password, everything else, and you knew where to go. Yeah. Like you just knew it was a private club.
That's what those knocks are at 3 a.m.
They're probably still coming to your house. Yo, where you at? I'm like, here's Chip. Chip's making drinks, man. I love it.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
You have a special coming up.
Yes.
And I want you to tell us about the special. And I'm curious about what sort of comedy is your favorite? Like what drew you to it? Like you had that vibe.
Yeah.
That I just want to laugh.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
You
It's
do.
my look. It's my face.
You get that? No, it's the vibe.
Yes.
Some people have the funny vibe.
Right.
Like you come in.
Yeah.
I go. You make me smile.
Right.
I don't even know why.
Exactly. I'm terrible at doing eulogies. It never works well. Yeah. So the special's called Move Closer. I recorded it at Helium. It's on YouTube now. We just released it. And so like I was always that nerdy quiet kid that was watching everybody else. And then like we just sat in the back of the classroom and made fun of everybody else. So that's my vibe, is just looking at
that's a Philadelphia vibe.
That's exactly what it's a Philly vibe. When you feel it, it's like because we got the chip on our shoulder.
Right.
And everybody thinks they're, I just want to bring somebody down if they think like it's not that I don't like somebody.
No.
It's like I think somebody likes themselves enough for the both
exactly.
of us.
Well, see,
So
that's what it is.
Yeah.
We're born from the Quakers.
Yes.
All right, and because we're born from the Quakers, we're about pack mentality, right?
Yeah.
We're not about standing out,
No.
right?
God.
Making display of themselves.
Yeah.
Like that's no. And that's why you're just a man of justice.
Exactly. Yes. It's so funny you said that. Anytime I get in like an argument or like a fight or like in the street, your road rage or whatever, it's never about me. It's never about like, oh, you did this to me. It's like you are ruining this for everybody.
Yes.
Else. You're in the left lane.
You're a superhero.
Yes. That's what I'm doing. It's my power. It's my job. It's my duty to Philadelphians to make sure
I
that people
totally
are
get that.
walking across the crosswalk appropriately. They're not, they're not cutting people off in traffic, and that things are going orderly, and we would be a happier place. So it's my job just to be snarky and rude and
That's
my superhero.
I get it.
You're calling me a hero, and I accept.
Yeah,
I
because
accept,
when you see, like at night, like if you're out and you see someone and they're a little full of themselves, and it gives us a bad name. So it's your duty, and this is where you step up.
Yeah,
It's like a verbal punch in the face.
It is. Yeah. Oh, my wife gets so embarrassed. But what I do, luckily, tourist season's almost over. But the thing that drives me just through the roof is 4 people walking across on the sidewalk. Like they'll just, coming at us, and they don't. I will just stand and like make them move and have them give me the look.
Yeah.
And then I'll roast them for like I kind of figure out where they're from and just like I'll see their shirt or oh you're from California, whatever, and just like lay into them for 2 minutes until they walk away.
You got to be single file.
Single file.
You're spot on with this.
Yeah.
Because what you need, you can't go 4 strong. All of a sudden, the people walking opposite you. You're taking their space.
Yes. Yeah.
He's like a violations deputy. You might have to deputize him.
By the way,
honestly,
you're not a violations guy. You commit violations all the time.
No, we're settled down. That's a violation.
No, I respect his violations. I followed him for a long time, and I
dumped him my deputy. I think I'm going to push him down.
Are you relegating me
to sheriff?
Yeah,
right. Like he's a sheriff.
Yeah,
he's got some. You may be the new deputy.
I don't
want. Or the commissioner.
That could be a violation. I don't want to get into that.
You could be the. I dump him. I can take it away from him. I'm going to make you the commissioner.
Yeah. All right.
We love Who invited this guy? Who invited this guy? Get him out of here.
I gotta go.
This bum over here taking my job.
Just a crumb bum, just sitting in my van.
No, we love him. We love him. So what's it like working on Tires? I mean, unbelievable show.
Great show.
Right?
Yeah.
Shane is a genius.
Yeah, so funny. And I'm not an actor. I'm a comedian. And we've done sketches and stuff together, but I'm a comedian and a writer. I came up with all those guys. So like Shane came up, he just, hit the stage and just blew up immediately. He came a little bit after us, but John McKeever, who, created the show basically with Steve Gerben, who is the other main character.
Yep.
It's his dad's shop. I came up with the 2 of those guys in stand-up, and we were always just had so much fun together and had a good rapport. We did product. John McKeever got me my first TV writing job. So I think he just used the people we trust, and we didn't know it was going to be on Netflix. Like it was just, hey, we're shooting this thing. Can you come down on Tuesday? We'll have fun, and we just had the fun with the lines, and then found out later that Netflix picked it up. So it was just.
That's so cool, man.
I think I would have been way more nervous, like going in, like I'm doing a Netflix show.
Right.
I'm just having fun with my friends.
Right.
And then it became that.
Well, that's what's great. That's the most organic way.
Yeah.
You're such a good Kyle.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, no, I am. It's just it is when you get a character like that, you're like, oh, you thought of me for that. Oh, great. Okay, good. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. That feels good.
Chip, do me a favor, hang out. All right, do me a favor because you might know our next guest.
Yeah, I think I do.
So speaking of funny, Tony Yacenda is from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
He's another huge Eagles fan. Mm-hmm. In fact, he is a writer-director. He has done a lot of good comedies. Hulu. He's working on a college football one now called Chad Powers on Hulu.
Yeah.
He directed the Jason Kelce Buffalo Wild Wings commercial.
It's great.
All right, which we're going to show. Let's get Tony up here. He's actually on set in Atlanta right now. Tone, what's up, brother?
What's up, cuz? How's it going?
Good.
Can you hear me?
We got you perfect, man.
Great.
This is great. Do you know Chip? So, Chip, do you know Tony?
I think
I know of Chip.
Yeah, Blake. Well, I think we were at Blake's wedding together last year, and your boy Blake. Yeah. Congratulations on that.
I watched
the new commercial. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I watched the Super Bowl with Blake and a guy who is the executive producer on this Hulu show, and we didn't know that until 6 years later. I was going through the videos. I'm like, holy shit, after that Hail Mary incomplete pass, Eagles win the Super Bowl, I hugged Blake Wexler, our mutual buddy, and then this executive producer who I don't meet until 5 years later. Bizarre, right?
That's so weird.
That's awesome, man.
Small world.
That's the Eagles. The Birds bringing everybody together.
Bringing it together.
You know what's nuts? The Eagle fan, I've never seen it so big, right? Like being an Eagle fan, man, it's taken over the world. It's so cool because growing up, man, it was not that's where the Cowboys thing. Now we have all kinds of famous comedians and directors and Bradley Cooper and everybody else. This is so cool. And Tony, you grew up.
There's a joke on.
Yeah, go ahead.
On sets, the people will say, how do you know a guy is an Eagles fan? You'll know. Because they're always wearing Eagles gear. Our key grip on this show and the Dolly grip, they just have Eagles stickers. And you just don't, we're sick. We're a sick people. We can't escape it.
I love it. We are sick. And it's what makes us beautiful. Because there's no other fan base like it. None.
Yeah. No, I mean, so when Buffalo Wild Wings comes and is Jason Kelce is the new spokesperson, friends with this CGI Buffalo, and he's, sad because he's left football, I'm like, well, we got to do it for real. If he's sad, he's in Philly. If he's in Philly, he's listening to sports radio. If he's listening to sports radio, he's listening to the Cuts. So I hit up Bo Wolf and Zach Berman on your network, who I know they work with you. I'm like, can you give me Anthony Gargano's contact information? And every cut that Buffalo Wild Wings saw and that the agency saw, there was never any temp voice or anything. We went into the edit with the genuine article, and everybody. It made me look cool at Buffalo Wild Wings. That they're oh, Tony got a real Philly sports legend for the beginning of this commercial. You can just hear a little bit of it, but I think it makes it so much better.
That's funny, man. That's so cool. And I was honored, man. But tell me about, what was it like working with Jason and doing this whole thing? And it's great because you love the Eagles. You're Downingtown East guy. You're a 4-for-4 guy to the core, and you're doing big things out there in LA. And then you get the opportunity to do this with Kelce. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a dream, and he's like everything you think. I don't know how he does it, to be honest, because when I've shot with other athletes before, and you get nervous because these guys are gods. I worked with Jimmy Butler, and I'm what do I say to Jimmy Butler? But Jason just feels like your buddy, and that must be so exhausting for him, though, because everybody on set he feels so approachable, so he is approached all the time by nerds like me who just assume we're gonna be best friends, and he's he humors us all the time. I think one day he might snap because of everybody in the city just like coming up to him and treating him like he's a best friend. But he's just tirelessly nice to everyone. It's astonishing.
Well, it's cool because, when you think about it, from the parade and wearing the mummers get up, right? From the speeches, he really personified us in so many ways. I mean, had an illustrious career, one of the greatest centers in the history of the game, will be a Hall of Famer. But also, he personified this town, not pretentious. Everything that Chip will rail somebody about, he's not, right? Like, he's truly one of us.
Yeah, it's so true, and it feels like we've lost an icon of the franchise. And then I think about but we also lost our center, which is maybe even, he was so good, and Cam Jurgens looked okay at guard last year, but when I hear a lot of people like, oh, we're gonna miss him so much as a leader, I'm like, I think you're gonna miss him on those
field.
poles.
Yeah. Now listen, without a doubt, you don't. A guy like him doesn't retire. You don't feel it. I do like where they're at, and I like how the line looks. But you're spot on. Let's watch the commercial. We have the commercial. Let's take a look at it. This is the Jason Kelce Buffalo Wild Wings commercial that Tony put together and directed.
It's football season. It's week 1.
Kelce, what up?
I think I messed up, Hank. I don't think I can walk away from football.
Say less. I got you. Jason Daniel Kelce, welcome back to football.
This is a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Exactly. Where you watch all the games while stuffing your face with, the greatest wings.
So good.
And all the beer.
There we go. Let's go.
See? B-Dubs is football.
It's football.
It's football.
Let's go, sports.
Excellent job, dude.
You too, cuz. You too.
Excellent, man. And he was terrific. He pulls it off perfectly.
Oh, he's such a good actor. He's going to be in movies.
Yes.
There's going to be another spot that plays during football season too, where you could see he's like a really good actor. For that spot, I asked him, should we shoot an alternate version in case, you decide mid-season you might want to come back? And he was pretty insistent that it was no. And truthfully, if you're Jason Kelce, you're not going to break that news in a Buffalo Wild Wings commercial anyway. So, but it was worth a shot.
It's classic. But he's unbelievable. It's why, look, Amazon gets him and New Heights with Travis, and they get $100 million deal, just like Chip will.
Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, those numbers.
I know.
If you don't mind me asking, Kelce seems like the greatest guy. Was the Buffalo as nice of a guy to work with? What was his process?
Yeah. I have
Does he have his own trailer?
To love this CGI Buffalo. Do you know Beck Bennett from SNL? Who he voices the Buffalo.
Is that
so
right?
he is on set improvising with Jason Kelce, and one's talking about their SNL, their days in SNL and the grind of SNL, while the other one's talking about the grind of the NFL. That's cool to be able to fly on the wall for those conversations.
How does that work? Is he in a green suit while he's there next to Kelce?
You comp him out. He just comes in whatever is comfortable for him. It's more about getting the other actor to have something to bounce off of.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. Give me that. I'm curious. Chad Powers, tell us about it. This is a great project. In fact, you're doing it with Omaha Productions and the Manning brothers as your executive producers. This is about college football. Tell me about the show. I'm loving this idea.
Have you seen the Eli Manning clip where he goes to Penn State and walks on as a player? Yeah. So basically, the actor Glenn Powell plays a former college football star who flames out in a really spectacular way, has kind of like a Johnny Manziel sort of fall from grace. And 8 years later, he's trying to get back into football, football, but nobody wants to touch him. So he puts on prosthetics and goes back to try out to be a walk-on an SEC football program. And so it's basically college football, Mrs. Doubtfire. Such a dumb, silly premise, but it's great.
I freaking love that. There's two things I love.
We're having a
football.
blast.
Oh, Mike, where you at? What stage are you with it?
We're in the middle of week 2. Tomorrow, we are filming the Rose Bowl sequence that starts the whole show, where he drops the ball on the 1 yard line and
that's great.
Punches a Make-A-Wish kid's dad, and it all his career.
God,
goes to nothing. And then the rest of the show is 8 years later. But I'm excited for this big Rose Bowl sequence.
Oh, that's so cool. That's fantastic. I got to tell you, Tom, I can't wait for the show. I mean, I think it's going to be a great one.
Yeah, there's nothing like it on TV. That's like so. It's really hard funny, but we have like a huge movie star as our lead, and we're taking the world building of like SEC football very seriously. So hopefully it's. I feel like people are going to love this show.
Yeah, I can tell. And listen, the way you tell it. I mean, we saw how the success of sports. In fact, Ted Lasso's re-upping for another season.
Yeah, and people love we love to be behind the scenes. We get to watch sports. We get to watch college football every Saturday, and it's fun to see like the stuff that you don't get to see on TV. And then ours just happens to be incredibly ridiculous on top of it in a fun way.
I love it. Tony, man, so excited. You're on set now. So I know you got a call time coming up in an hour. Dude, we're so proud of you, man. This is incredible stuff that you're doing.
Thank you, man. It was so much fun. I've listened to you, since I was in high school. So like to be able to do this commercial with you was super fun. I got to texting pictures of us in the PHLY studio to my friends and my parents. And you with the cuz. It was kind of a full circle moment for me.
Well, I got to tell you, I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was my honor. And you got to keep me abreast of everything because you got to be a regular on it. You got to be coming back, buddy.
Yeah, I love it. I love what you guys are doing over there. I love the Eagles show with Bo and Zach. I love what Kyle and Derek talking Sixers. It's a cool little network you have over there.
Well, anytime you want to come around and hang with us, man, we love to have you, buddy.
I appreciate it. And Chip, great seeing you again, man.
Yeah, you
so
too,
funny.
Man.
Congratulations on tires.
Yeah,
love
you too. Thank you, man. And congrats. The commercial looks great.
Cool. Thanks, man.
You're the man, Tone. Thanks
for having me, guys. Go
Great
Birds.
Stuff, buddy. Go Birds!
Go Birds.
How great is that? And it's nuts. It's Philadelphia, right? So what's wild is that you know each other. You were texting VG. I was telling him about Tony. And you said, I was at a wedding with him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just such a small world. Yeah. We were at the Waterworks last summer. And just never met him before. But we just have that mutual friend. So it's just that feel. Yeah. You go anywhere. Like he said, you go anywhere and you will find, I worked out in LA for a while and you just, there's a guy with an Eagles shirt. Like you find them, they're everywhere. And it's just great. And there's always that connection too, which is always so much fun. Like they come right at you. There's no just dancing around or whatever. It's like go Birds. And then you have a 5-minute conversation.
Yeah. It's funny. I tell people all the time about that greeting, right? And that, because when we go
in Europe, someone will say it to you. It's so weird.
I was in Venice a few years ago and they go, "Yoka, go Birds." And my wife was like, "What?" Like, what? It's
Never
crazy.
Stops.
But it's this bond that we share as Philadelphians, which is amazing. By the way, I do want to thank all of our diehards and everybody here at PHLY appreciates it. A lot of fun stuff happening. So make sure you hang out with us, become a diehard, and make it part of your routine. All right? Especially as we get football and Red October and everything else coming up. So, Chip, what made you get involved? Like, what was the calling, the comedy calling?
You know what? It was my brother was in a band, and I wanted just to be a part of the Philly scene. Like that, I met a bunch of Philly musicians, and everybody was cool.
Yeah.
I played chords on the guitar. I'm not good, so I was like, I got to do something else. I was kind of funny, and I was like, I'll tell jokes. And so I didn't think about fame or fortune or anything like that. I just wanted to like hang out with that Philly crew. I was living in the suburbs, and it was like, come hang out in Philly with that, like those cool musicians. That's all I wanted. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And the people that you've worked with, I mean, it's a who's who. I mean, Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, I mean, all kinds of heavyweights.
Yeah. It's been lucky. I mean, Helium's been great, the comedy club, because people come through, and we go to other Heliums across the country now. So we'll get, I got matched up with Bob Saget years ago. And
wow.
So we were in Portland, but it was another thing where Bob didn't know who I was, but I opened for him. He liked me, and then he found out. He's like, "Oh, you're a Philly kid." And I was like, "Yeah, so was he," and liked me right away. And then just started taking me around doing shows.
Oh,
so
nice.
Again, it was that Philly,
wow.
that Philly bond. Yeah.
What was he like?
He was the best. He was so good to me, and like would meet my family and like take them out. Bob Saget got my parents to meet the Beach Boys, their favorite band growing up.
Get out of here!
He hooked it up so my parents got to meet the Beach Boys. That was like the highlight of my comedy career for them. Yeah, they were just like, all right, you can do whatever you want because we met the Beach Boys because Bob. Yeah,
dude, that's what a great story.
Yeah.
What's that life like on the road, man? Like.
It's lonely and sad and isolating. I'm so glad to be here with you two right now. No, it is. It's so much fun, but it can be tiring.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So it's like the nice part is you go like I'm not on tour like a band where you're like out there for 4 months. It's like I'm out there for 3 days, home, then out for 2 days, home, out for a week, whatever. But the nice part is it's like kind of like going to summer camp because I'll go to Buffalo Helium or Portland Helium or Indianapolis. And you get to know the other comics, you get to know the staff, the bartenders, the wait staff. And so it's like, oh, Chip's here, we're having fun for the week. And so you kind of have these little families in these little cities, which that makes it a lot more bearable. Yeah, makes it a lot more fun.
That's cool, man.
Yo, what's your 2009 Phillies Italian restaurant story?
Okay. I love the Phils. I hate the World Series. I hate the playoffs because at least with like the Eagles playoff, like NFL playoffs, you know when the games are going to be.
Right.
For a comedian, as much as you want to see.
You got to book, yes.
So you got to book a show on Thursday night and then find out that it's the NCAA. Well, nobody's coming. So I was literally booked. There's no reason this show should have happened. I was at, I want to say Franco Luigi's. Like
Dante Luigi's?
Dickinson. Not Dante Luigi. It was like Franco.
Yes.
That used to be a spot.
Dickinson, right by where they sing the Victor Cafe. You're there.
Yes.
So it was this Italian restaurant. It was the night of the last game of the Eagles World Series in 2009.
Phillies World Series.
I'm sorry, Phillies World Series in 2009. I was on stage doing 45 minutes. I was 3 minutes in. I'm in South Philly. And this guy in the second row just goes, ugh, after a joke. And I thought he didn't like my joke. And I was like, what's going on? You think that was funny? And I could tell he was looking at his phone. It was like an old flip phone. Right. And he just goes, the Phillies just lost the World Series. And the entire room just sang.
No, we were just starting the show.
I had 40 minutes to go when they all found out that the Phils lost. And so I was like, so I got a dog. Here's a funny story. It's like, are you kidding me? And so then I had to do the rest of the show just to sadness. And it was...
oh, my God.
Yeah, I was also on stage.
Oh, that's brutal.
I was telling you one time, I was doing this bar opening for Jim Florentine at this like crazy sports bar in Clifton Heights. And and there's a sports bar with like all the TVs, and then we're sort of in the same room, but a different room. The host is just about to introduce me when on all the TVs, the news comes up and somebody yells, "Oh my God, the Eagles just signed Michael Vick."
Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me.
And it was anarchy. It was anarchy. And luckily my buddy Pat Barker, who's a big Eagles fan, who's out there making it big in LA now, he was hosting and like took the bullet and took a few minutes of like, all right, guys, calm down. Like people were going wild and like, can you believe they signed this guy? And like all this stuff. And
my God.
And then he's like, So he did take a couple of minutes to, kind of redirect. And I was like, here's Chip Chantry. But, I wasn't ready. There was just, the show is over at that point. Good night, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so, you want to talk about being thrust in a difficult situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. Or, I would do, I was doing the Tropicana years ago down in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of Giants fans. And I was happy about this, but it was a late playoff game. And so they had the Giants game on the screens. It was a late Sunday night. The Giants lost the game. I want to say it was an overtime, something like that. It was down the wire. Everybody got sad. And then they're like, time for the comedy. And the screens roll up and they're like, time for comedy. And it's just these angry, sad people in Atlantic City that we got to perform for. But you got to do it. So,
my God.
Yeah.
The journey is wild.
Yeah.
Right? You've been in all kinds of crazy scenarios. And just the pressure. What's the pressure like of having to make somebody laugh?
Yeah.
Which is that's freaking hard.
Yeah. It's luckily after doing it so many times, the pressure has gone down. I think I'm just a husk of a human being now.
Right.
I don't have a soul left anymore. So it's all right, I can do this. But at first it was it's a roller coaster ride because it's you're just up there, and if they don't like you, it's not like you're a musician, they don't like your song, or they don't like the play you're in, or what they don't like you as a human being.
Yeah.
And then you just got to live with that until your next show. So when you first started out, it's I have a show on a Wednesday night, and now I got to wait until next Wednesday to try to prove myself. And it's so that you get over that roller coaster ride.
You teach. Can anyone put together a good 3 minutes? Can you bring that out in people?
I think I can bring out what people have. I think there is an innate ability to a certain extent. And again, it's upbringing. It's we grew up in Philly, or we have that attitude. So there's funny in the water here. There's other things too, but I think there's a lot of funny. And I teach a class at Helium to do it. And you try to focus their funny, what it is, and okay, I can kind of see where you're coming from. Now how do we convey that to a group of strangers?
Wow,
Yeah.
That's so fascinating, dude. Tell us about the special again, and when and how we get it. It's on YouTube and
it's called Move Closer. It's on YouTube. Just look up Chip Chantry. You can subscribe to me on YouTube, but it's out right now. Move Closer, Chip Chantry. Watch it literally whenever you want.
Oh, we got to watch this. Come on, man. Everybody's got to follow Chip and watch him on YouTube. Also, where can we see you? You got book any dates yet?
Yeah, you can find me at chipchantry.com. I got all my dates up there. I got a couple things brewing in October. I'm going to be with Todd Glass, actually right around the corner here at a club, a new club right around the corner.
Oh, well, stop by and see us. We'll preview it.
Todd Glass and I, we're going to be there for a week together. Yeah,
I'm in. Yeah, we're in.
Great.
We'd love to see it. It'd be great. Brother, great stuff, man.
Thanks.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Skeeves. Did a good job.
Yeah,
producing. Hey, did an okay job. Everybody, listen, thanks for hanging. We love you guys, man. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.